14 races, an incredible set of drivers to battle in what has basically been the best F4 grid in history. All brings us to this last race of the season and the championship showdown in the F4 United Arab Emirates Championship 2023 here at the Yas Marina circuit in the nation's capital of Abu Dhabi. Hello everybody, Jake Sanson here for this last race of the season and the championship showdown between our two title contenders, teammates at the Mumbai Falcons racing team. James Wharton of Australia and Tukka Tarpanen of Finland. Two competitors that will race for the victory, 20 points apart in the title fight, 25 points to score. So Tukka has to win, with Wharton failing to score to win the title. But it's been quite an hectic weekend already. In the F4 UAE Championship races yesterday, we had a great battle. Certainly race 2 yesterday was just as intense and exciting as it had been in the earlier race, as Tukka Tarpanen and James Wharton duelled away for the victory from the outset, and they were wheel to wheel in the very first lap. Tukka initially getting ahead and Wharton able to repeat the move. As they continued, a great battle all the way throughout. It is a really exciting run for all of our competitors as they continue to battle away. There were problems galore on the opening lap of the second race, as we saw a big tangle between Nicola Lacorte as he lost out with Brando Badua. An exciting run for all of the drivers as they duelled away for position. Even Arvid Lindblad got a little bit wide in his battle with Keanu Al-Azhari. But there would be problems galore in the middle of the pack as Kai Tarianani ended up tangling with Mohammed Ibrahim and Flavio Olivieri. There would be several connections in the race. The spin from Zachary David leaving Sebastian Murray with nowhere to go, and that brought out the safety car, which is how the race would eventually end. The safety car would be deployed, and for the second time in as many races, James Wharton would clinch the checkered flag in front of Tukka Tarpanen and Yuga Chukwu in third. That means the gap is now 20 points with 25 available for James Wharton. It's just a case of do what you did yesterday, and the champion will come from Australia. So I can now tell you that the two contenders for the Mumbai Falcons team have both won 4 races apiece. And we have this one final race to battle for the title. A really exciting opportunity for the contenders as they gear up for the last race of the F4 UAE Championship season. Pole position, as it has been for the previous 2 races, is the Australian James Wharton. He is down on the grid with Feline Wang.
Hey James, last race of the season, are you ready to bring the trophy back home?
Yeah, I think I know my objectives for this race. I don't need to win the race, but of course I'm going to try and do that. If I can, I just need to finish inside top 7 and get the job done. I want to get this title. I've worked so hard over the last couple of weeks, so time to get the job done and bring it back to Mumbai Falcons.
Okay, good race. Yeah. 那刚刚呢，我是问到 James 呢，他提到呢，我说，因为他也在总冠军的一个头位的位置，那么他呢，如果这场获胜的话，对他来讲是一个完美的收官。他说呢，他不会想太多呢，主要是 讨好每一场比赛，同时也感谢车队给他了一辆非常棒的车。Back to you guys.
Thanks, Feline. Great to hear from James Wharton as he prepares for the moment that could set him on the path to glory for the rest of his fledgling junior career. A fabulous young chap, James Wharton, has plenty of opportunities this season to go for an excellent display, but the Ferrari Academy youngster has had so much bad luck through his karting years. It never quite went his way, and in F4 he has had some tough times. But now the young 16-year-old from Bundora in Victoria has a great chance to win the F4 UAE Championship title. However, the man who starts alongside him on the front row of the grid is Yuga Chukwu, and Feline Wang has found the man who started this championship in dominant form. What can he do in his last race?
Hey Ugo, last race of the season, and tell us what will be your approach for this race.
Yeah, as you said, last race of the year, so we're going to try to make it a good one. Try to get a good start, and then, if possible, try to take the lead.
Okay, have a good race. 那刚刚我问到Ugo呢，他是说他希望呢能够在第一个弯就是发车的时候有一个好的表现，同时呢获得比赛的领先。那么比赛呢依然会非常的精彩，还希望大家继续的关注。Back to you guys.
4 wins, 7 podiums, 2 pole positions and 3 fastest laps is not a bad return for your efforts in F4 UAE Championship 2023. And the young man from New York, who's still only 15 years of age, is even taller than I am, which is going to be an interesting situation for him when he gets to the senior categories. But I'm sure McLaren will have a seat warmed up for him in GTs if all else fails. But he's certainly on the march to Formula One if he keeps it up. So is this man, Tuukka Tarppanen. They call him the Tiger. And the Finn is doing a fantastic job. He has captured the hearts and the imaginations of so many people from not just his nation, but from around the world in general. They really feel like Tuukka has something special to showcase in his future. He has just become a member of the Ferrari Drivers Academy. This has been his first campaign in car racing of any kind, and he's done an amazing, amazing job. But then he's had quite an amazing career leading up to this one. There is Valerio Rinicella, the Italian, looking good to finish his season on a high note. He's been one of the serial overtakers of this season. He managed to keep himself in the title fight all the way to the final weekend, despite the fact he hadn't picked up a single win over the season. But the 16-year-old from Rome has been very competitive indeed, and it's begun to see what he's been able to achieve in his short time in car racing as well. He was in the Italian and Spanish equivalents of this championship last year, and he has been towards the sharp end in 2023 in F4 UAE, which gives us a bit of a key to the fact that he could be even stronger when he returns to his native Italy. There's Noah Lyle, the Australian driver, who has been racing this season under a British licence, but he comes from Perth, the 15-year-old from the west of Australia, and he has had quite an incredible career leading up to this one. He managed to grab a podium and a pole position in the F4 British Championship last year for JHR, and of course he was also competing in the Spanish talent school at DriveX last year. But this is a real stepping stone opportunity for Noah Lyle, who has come out of his native Australia with a great opportunity to continue putting on good displays. He starts 7th on the grid for this one, just behind Arvid Lindblad, who is the Red Bull Junior, of course. And it's great to see that Arvid Lindblad, with a very competitive season actually in F4 UAE, who is from Virginia Water in the southeast of Great Britain, 15 years of age, the Red Bull youngster, has done a fantastic job over the course of his campaign. This is his 2nd year as part of the Red Bull Junior team, and after such an incredible performance in his karting career, it's no surprise that he was picked up by an F1 team in their academy. And he's definitely a competitor that's worth keeping an eye on over the years to come. So the drivers are gearing themselves up ready for an exciting display. 23 minutes plus 1 lap. The final 23 minutes and the final lap of this season. It will be a fascinating challenge for all of the competitors to gear us up for a good start to the summer season, and I'm sure that there's going to be quite a few people that will watch their progress over the course of the rest of 2023. But what a momentous year it has been in the F4 UAE Championship 2023. There is Lola Lovinfoss, a driver who I'm sure is going to be racing up at the sharp end of the fields in future competitions. She was there in the Indian Racing League in December, and it's great to see that she's out here supporting her friends and her rivals out there in the sport. She was actually racing against Bianca Bustamante, who was on the starting grid here in the F4 UAE Championship out in Chennai and Hyderabad in December. And she was a podium scorer on that particular occasion, so hopefully it's not going to be too long before we see Lola Lovinfoss either competing in the F4 UAE Championship or in the Formula Regional Middle East Championship next season. Certainly one to watch for the French viewers. And Lola Lovinfoss, potentially, hopefully, we could see her join Bianca Bustamante in the F1 Academy in the weeks to come. But the lights are going to change from red to green, and that will signal the start of the formation lap. And then it'll be the last formation lap of the season. Green light, James Wharton heads Ugo Ugachukwu, Tuukka Tarppanen and Keanu Al-Azali around on this starting grid. Bring it home, boys and girls. What an epic season it's been. James Wharton and Ugo Ugachukwu will line up on the front row of the starting grid. On the second row, it'll be Tuukka Tarppanen, the Tiger, alongside Keanu Al-Azali, hoping to bow out with the Yazid team with a podium. Valerio Rinicella is alongside Arvid Lindblad on the third row of the starting grid. Row 4 sees Noah Lyle, the Australian, alongside Federico Rafai, his XL teammate. Rounding out the top 10, it is James Bezique, also of Australia, Pedro Claro, the Brazilian, lining up P10. 11th is Brando Badoa, alongside Kanato Lee for the high-tech team. 13th is Hamda Al-Kubaisi. She lines up beside the Frenchman Théophile Nile for Santalot. 15th is Nicolas Lacorte, alongside the Danish talent Noah Stromsted for PHM. 17th is Jessica Esquedo for Mexico, and then Dion Gauda for the Rodin Carlin team. Rounding out the top 20, Akshay Vora, who scored points yesterday, and Will McIntyre will be charging through from 20th. Mohammed Ibrahim is alongside Valentin Klus, India versus Germany on row 11. Then it's Lina Bula alongside the Singaporean from Malta, Zachary David. Then it is Nandabud Bidombakti, who lines up alongside Alex Bolduev on the 13th row. Raphael Narak from France alongside the ever-improving Kai Darianani. Then Alex Abgasava, he lines up alongside Matteo Quintarelli in the third of the Yazheed cars. Sebastian Murray goes wheel-to-wheel with Bianca Bustamante on the 16th row of the grid. Luciano Morano lines up alongside the Italian Flavio Olivieri on row 17. Behind them, Vicky Blokina is alongside Theo Jensen. Party race carousel versus Santalot. Then Jack Beaton lines up beside Georgi Zhiravsky on the 19th row of the grid. And the final row sees Fernando Barrichello and Ismail Ahmed, who've already been duelling tooth and nail this season. In fact, those two actually ended up coming together on the final lap of the race weekend at Dubai last week. And they're going to start with each other on the final row of the grid again, so hopefully they're going to keep away from each other. But as we conclude the F4 United Arab Emirates Championship 2023, it is worth reflecting on just how competitive a year it has been. Yuga Chukwu, James Wharton, Tuka Tarpanen, Arvid Lindblad, Zachary David, all taking race wins over the course of this season. It's been a very exciting year, and of these 15 races, which is the smallest amount of races an F4 UAE Championship has ever had, it's worth pointing out that it has been one of the most entertaining and one of the most exciting championships in F4 UAE Championship history as well. Since 2016, when the now president of the FIA, Mohammed bin Sulayem, set this up, it was to showcase an opportunity for youngsters, not just from the United Arab Emirates, but from all over the world, to gain a little bit of winter racing experience, and obviously on international Class A grade circuits, such as Yas Marina and Dubai Autodrome. It's expanded since then. We went to the Kuwait Motor Town over the course of rounds 2 and 3 earlier in the season, but it's just getting bigger and better and more exciting as the weekends progress. And may I say, what a privilege and an honour it has been to be the voice of the championship for these 15 races in what I have to say is the most competitive F4 grid I think there's ever been in the category's history. And that's a big statement, I know. But when you consider that there have been 40 drivers, some of whom have had very differing experiences compared to other competitors on the field, and on average the whole field has actually been covered by a mere 2 seconds. 2 seconds amongst 40 competitors. That is just astonishing. Not bad for 10 years of motorsport in F4, but this is ultimately, for my money, the best of them all. So the final grid is being formed, the last starting grid of 2023. But not only do we have all of that to talk about, we actually have a championship fight. Tuka Tarpanen, look at him in third on the grid. He's already lined up to go after James Wharton. He has to win, with James Wharton finishing 8th or lower to become champion. James Wharton just has to stay in front of Tuka. It doesn't matter where he finishes, as long as he's ahead of the Tiger. And he is the F4 UAE champion. All bets are on. Who's going to be champion in the F4 UAE Championship 2023? As the lights come on, we will find out for the last time here in Yas Marina. It's go! A great start from the front of the field from James Wharton. Arvid Lindblad is left on the starting grid. The Red Bull Junior is going nowhere. And right already side by side, Tuka Tarpanen trying to take on Yuga Chukwu and going right round the outside, getting alongside Wharton. Yuga Chukwu trying to get on the inside of James Wharton. That hasn't worked. Tarpanen's got to go a long way round to try and get alongside and level with James Wharton. Trying to work his way through to the inside, and Tuka Tarpanen is up the inside of James Wharton, going for the lead. Tarpanen will try. They both go off. Tarpanen recovers in front of Wharton. Oh, they've hit each other! I don't believe it! Wharton and Tarpanen collide! And surely that's game over. Wharton is going to be champion! And that is over for James Wharton. Look at that wheel. It is destroyed. on the first lap of 2023's season finale. James Wharton is out. Oh my goodness, and Ugachukwu now leads the race. Second place is Rinichella, I do believe. James Wharton is out. Tarpanen is out of the points. Who would have thought that the championship would end this way? What on earth is going on at Yas Marina? Lindblad has parked the car as well. He can't get moving. What a shame for Arvid Lindblad. Lindblad out. Wharton out. And I'm fairly sure Tarpanen is down but not out yet. But what a dramatic start to this final race of the season. Safety car is of course on track. Oh my word. Yugo Ugachukwu leads under safety car. Wow. All bets are off now in this race, but I'm fairly sure as far as the championship is concerned, it's over. Unless Tuka Tarpanen can dramatically find his way back. Let's look again. Look, Wharton has gone over the curves. See, what's happened there is that they both run off the road. Tarpanen rejoined a little earlier than James Wharton did. Wharton hopped over the curves and ended up accidentally spewing into the side of Tuka Tarpanen's car. So I'm afraid Wharton, because he rejoined over the top of a curb, ended up having nothing he could do but spear into the side of Tarpanen's car. That's just one of those things. Not malicious from either driver, but again, a racing incident. And I'm afraid it's ruined the championship title fight between our two main protagonists. But is Tuka Tarpanen, but Tarpanen is in the pits. Now, Tarpanen is in the pit lane. Wharton's car is abandoned. He's out. If, by miracle against miracle, Tuka Tarpanen can work his way from the back of the field to the front, he's going to be champion, but I do not see it happening. Some miracles are just too crazy to envisage. I don't really think you can give a penalty to either driver in that particular situation under the circumstances. If that had been a malicious move by James Wharton to drive it to the side of Tarpanen, I'd have said fair enough, a penalty could be applied. But that's a racing incident for my money. And that's Kai Daryanani out of the race as well. I'm not sure what's happened to him. But as you can obviously understand, the contact involving cars 13 and 8 at turn 13 are under investigation by the stewards. Tuka Tarpanen and James Wharton, their title fight ends in a collision. It's 1990 at Suzuka all over again. On the first lap of the showdown, they clatter into each other. You'd never have predicted that in a month of Sundays. What a crazy situation. So now, let's try and unpick the final race of the season. The championship is obviously almost an afterthought now, but it's almost certain that James Wharton is going to be champion. Yugo Ugachukwu is leading, Valerio Rinichella is second, and Keanu Alazadi is now third. Noah Lyle is in a brilliant fourth place from Pedro Claro and Federico Rifai. Kanato Lee ahead of Brando Badua and Theophile Nal. Hamda Al-Kubaisi is currently in 10th place. And then it's James Physique in front of Nicola Lacorte, Noah Stromsted and Jesse Carrasquedo. Will McIntyre has charged his way up to 15th place on the first lap. Akshay Bora in 16th. Then Lina Bula, Mohammed Ibrahim, Valentin Klus and Zachary David. From Rafael Narak and Matteo Quintarelli, Luciano Morano and Bianca Bustamante, then Alex Abkasava, Jack Beaton, Nadavo Birambakti and Flavio Olivieri ahead of Sebastian Murray, Theo Jensen, Alexander Bolduev, Fernando Barrichello, Vicky Blochina, Ismail Ahmed, Georgi Zharavsky, Dion Gauda, and at the very back of the grid, it should be Tuka Tarpanen. I'm fairly sure Tuka Tarpanen has come into the pits and gone out again. Oh, has he not gone out again? I'm not sure he has. I think he's got too much damage. As if Tarpanen has rejoined, then obviously he's going to be at the back of this safety car queue. So we need to look at the back of the queue. Has Tuka Tarpanen gone back out again? He's showing as 37th, but I think he's showing as still in pit road. And if the safety car goes by this time, if he's still in the pit lane, then there's no way he can win this championship title. The cars go by the pit lane. If Tarpanen is in the pits, if he goes a lap down, the win is over. And it looks to me as though he is still in pit lane. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a new champion. His name is James Wharton. That may not be the way he wanted to win it. His car parked on the sideline in pieces. But James Wharton is the champion. See, look, Wharton has rejoined the circuit by hopping over the curb. He rejoined the circuit later than Tarpanen did. And unfortunately, Tarpanen just ended up having nowhere to go. Wharton crashing into the side of him. And I think there was a second point of contact just then at the end of the replay. That's why Tarpanen can't keep going, because there's damage to the left rear as well. To be a fly on the wall at Mumbai Falcons right now, as the two title protagonists collide. Poor Kai Daryanani, you know what, he's made massive progress this season from the first round to the last, and it's a shame that his races here this weekend have not really delivered everything they should have done. He was top 20 in race 1, he would have been in race 2 had it not been for an incident, and I think he had a good chance of doing so in this one as well. Of all the dramatic incidents that could have happened, we had a controversial incident between the championship contenders in Formula Regional Middle East as well. But how on earth could it happen again in F4 UAE? That is absolutely incredible. The Bobcats are going to work around the circuit, but Tuukka Tarpanen is out of the race. James Wharton is the champion. Now, there's going to be a lot of people who will see that in a very obtuse fashion and will say that that was intentional. I have to say, I completely disagree with you if that's your view. That's a racing incident between two drivers. They're going for the race move. Tarpanen going for the inside of Wharton. Both drivers wanting to beat the other. They both drifted off the road. Tarpanen rejoined before the left apex. Wharton rejoined on the left apex. It just so happened that Tarpanen was already trying to go around him at the same time. A total accident, a total miscommunication, nothing malicious there at all, no malice, no afterthought of I'm going to hit him off. If you believe that, then I'm sorry, you're in the world of fantasy. But James Wharton's car destroyed, and unfortunately Tuukka Tarpanen's car also damaged to the extent that he can't rejoin. The championship contenders collide, and James Wharton is champion. He cannot be caught. Well, what a dramatic and rather bittersweet way to end the 2023 season. Lindblad is looking pretty fed up as well. The amount of points he's lost over the course of 2023 through misfortune and disappointment. He could easily have been a championship contender himself this year, and probably deserved to be. But now we're going to have a completely different race when it restarts, because there's not going to be a championship to fight for. It's already decided. And Yuga Wugachukwu and Valerio Vinicella are going to have to fend off the feisty Keanu Al-Azadi, who on home soil can now sense that not only can he win the rookie race, which he's almost certain to do now, but he could win the whole race outright. And what a joyous occasion that would be for the locals here at Yas Marina, for the Yas Heat team to get a race win. It's not done yet, there's plenty still to do. Yuga Wugachukwu is back where he started the season, in the lead. But Valerio Vinicella wants to prove that he can win in his last race of the season. He hasn't won yet, and he kept himself mathematically in the title hunt right the way to this final race weekend. So there's still a lot to unpick here, still a lot to unravel, with the remaining 13.5 minutes plus the additional lap left in this season. Absolutely sensational. Well, an incredible way to end the season. The Australian Tuukka Tarpanen and the Finn, the Australian James Wharton and the Finn Tuukka Tarpanen collide in their battle for the title, and James Wharton inherits the championship as a result. But you have to commend both of them. They've been absolutely sensational all the way through this season. James Wharton finally got his winning streak up and running at Kuwait, which is exactly where Tuukka Tarpanen got his as well. But Tarpanen was catching all the way through Dubai. He got the hat-trick of victories to tighten up this title fight. But even before that clash between Wharton and Tarpanen, as the safety car is due to come in this lap, Wharton had controlled the race weekend. I think Tarpanen would have given him a very good fight. But it's just a shame that they ended up having to trip over each other at the W Hotel. What a shame. We don't get the title fight we deserved. But now we get a sprint to the finish as the safety car is peeling in. Yuga Wugachukwu in front of Valerio Rinicella, Keanu El-Azadi, Noah Lyle and Pedro Claro. All bets are off. Let's see what happens. Ugachukwu's gone for it. Rinicella's pretty close to him though. Wugachukwu hasn't got the restart that he might have liked. And with the two title contenders removed, we get to have a proper thrill fest for the remaining 12 minutes plus the additional lap. Everybody trying not to trip over each other before they start the restart. And it's green, 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 green once again here at Yas Marina. Wugachukwu stretching away. Rinicella second, Keanu El-Azadi in third. Then it's Lyle, Claro, Rifai, Lee, Badua. Teofil Nal already having a look at Brando Badua. To the hairpin. Teofil Nal just has to let him go for the moment. A really exciting run as Keanu El-Azadi sizes up the opportunity on Valerio Rinicella as well. Oh, and that's a spin. That's Fernando Barrichello. And that's a broken front wheel. That looks like that's happened at the final chicane. That looks like that happened before he even crossed the line to take the restart. So that is baffling that Fernando Barrichello has got himself into an incident before his race even restarted. And on a spin! Noah Lyle goes around right in front of Pedro Claro. Oh, Noah Lyle just lost the back end. A big moment there for Noah Lyle. You could just see the back of the car was loose. And that was always going to happen. Bit of a slide there from Akshay Bora as well. But Rinicella holds on to second in front of Keanu El-Azadi. And I think with Fernando Barrichello's car in a dangerous position, we may end up with another safety car here. Unless he can get that car moving a little bit further forward. But Yuga Wugachukwu leads from Valerio Rinicella and Keanu El-Azadi. Noah Lyle losing fourth position with a spin in the middle of the pack. What a dramatic final race this one's turning out to be. Wugachukwu ahead of Rinicella and El-Azadi. And now we've got the battles down the back straight. That's not the racetrack, I think you'll find. As Akshay Bora tries his best to duel away in position there. We're getting down to the straight. This is James Bezique, Nicola Lacorte, Noah Stromsted, Jesse Kadashkedo and Will McIntyre. In the mix there, that's Lena Bueller dueling with Akshay Bora. So as they go through again, it looks as though Fernando Barrichello is off in a position that isn't too dangerous after all, because we can carry on. Kanato Lee has dropped it down the field. I'm not sure what's happened to Kanato Lee, but he has not come through this time. Side by side, this is Stromsted round the outside of James Bezique. Brilliant racing. He has to bail out of it in the end, but that's dedication, that's commitment on the outside line. And he almost made that one stick. Kadashkedo dueling with Will McIntyre. And then Bora in front of Bueller. Ibrahim, Klus, Noah Lyle, who has recovered in 18th in front of Zachary David. I really want to see that incident again for Noah Lyle, because it just looked like he washed himself out of the corner. I don't know whether there was contact or not. But certainly Noah Lyle just dropping it in fourth position in front of Pedro Claro. Not entirely sure if there was a little bit of a nudge before that, but I certainly didn't see one. There's Klus getting through on the inside of Lena Bueller. So Valentin Klus takes on Lena Bueller, having already got past Mohammed Ibrahim, so he's picking them off one by one now. A fabulous challenge and a great duel continuing. Mohammed Ibrahim trying to get the move on the inside of Lena Bueller, and he's going to run wide here. It's going to be enough surely for Noah Lyle to get back on terms with Mohammed Ibrahim, but he's trying not to let Zachary David slip through the net. Ibrahim covering the inside line, Noah Lyle committing, still going for it, Mohammed Ibrahim! Left him very little room indeed there. Goodness me, that was very dangerous aggression from Mohammed Ibrahim. Noah Lyle was already committing to the move and Ibrahim just pulled across. Goodness me. We were very lucky indeed there that we didn't have contact. That could have been a monstrous accident. 3 wide down to the braking zone. Kadashkedo is trying to outbox Bora and McIntyre. Kadashkedo misses the corner. Rejoins in front of both of them. And that's surely going to let both drivers feel very aggrieved. Akshay Bora is now going to get his run on Will McIntyre. They run side by side, both carrying the British flag. Will McIntyre from Scotland, Akshay Bora runs under a British licence, but he has heritage from Singapore and India. come through. Shibora able to squeeze back in behind the high-tech, but still stay in front of Valentin Klus. What a sensational race. It's still got just under 7 minutes remaining of it, plus the additional lap. Chiara Mazzardi trying to stay with Valerio Vinicella, but a podium would certainly satisfy him, I'm sure, at the end of what has been a gripping season. It looks like we're going to have two Yas Heat Racing cars in the top 10 positions. Hamda Al-Kubaisi running in 8th place, looking much more solid than we've seen her in previous races this season. She's not had the same sort of pace that we saw from her 2 years ago when she was winning on this very circuit. There is Yuka Wagachukwu, just keeping it nice and tidy. If he can't win the championship, at least he can bow out of the title fight the way he started it, with a dominant victory. Vinicella in second, Alazzari in third, Pedro Claro running very smoothly in 4th position, the Brazilian, and Federico Rifai under some pressure. Brando Badoa is trying to weave around on the back straight, trying to get the overtaking move. So Federico Rifai is going to hold the inside line. Brando Badoa trying to squeeze in around the outside. Don't think he's going to get the opportunity into the left, but he might get a better exit out of the right. And it looks as though, whoops, somebody's missed the chicane there. One of the high-techs going on. I think that might have been Will McIntyre. If not, that's probably going to be Kanato Lee. No, it won't be Kanato Lee because he's down at the back of the field now. So we're watching Federico Rifai trying to shake off Brando Badoa and Teofil Nal. 5th, 6th and 7th, these three. Track limits for number 17. First warning, that's Chiara Alazzari in third. And with just a little over 5 minutes plus the additional lap to run, it is a fabulous end to the season, but it all feels just a little bit sour after the collision that took out the championship contenders in the last race of the year. Tuka Tarpanen and James Wharton on the sidelines. Wharton the champion. Now, what are we going to see again? This is 3 wide into the first corner. And this is going to end messy. It properly does. Oh dear, oh dear. Well, that did not end well. David slipped through the net. Ibrahim covering the inside line. Noah Lyle committing. Still going for it. Mohammed Ibrahim left him very little room indeed there. Goodness me, that was very for that one. And a black and white flag has been given to Mohammed Ibrahim for driving standards. And I'm not entirely surprised. Been called for the turn 1.5 minutes remaining-ish at the point of the safety car being called. It's a fair argument to suggest that this might end on the safety car. Might, but not definite. But certainly it gives Vinicella and Alazzari a little glimmer of hope. If they can get the incident moved quickly, then we might just get one flying lap to finish the season. Shades of F1 2021, perhaps. And the car stationary is Nandavud Bidambakti of the PHMT, or at least he's one of the stationary cars. I think there might be one or two that are stationary on this occasion. But Yuka Wagachukwu will lead Valerio Vinicella over the line. Chiara Alazzari in third position behind. And then Claro, Rifai, Badua, Nile, Al-Kubaisi, Lacorte and Pazik. So Bidambakti is off the road. As you can see, so too is Bustamante. So a very unfortunate end to the race for those two. And it was Quintarelli and Abkasava that were involved in those incidents because they are the ones that have lost positions down the order. But with just under 3 minutes to go under safety car, unless they can move those cars pretty darn quickly, I think this race may just end under safety car. Bianca's already out of the car. Thank goodness she's okay. And she will obviously move on from F4 UAE. See, she's got the line on the inside line there, and she just gets a little bit of a tap from behind. You can't blame her for that one either. She actually had the corner. She had the move. But she just got a little bit of a tap from behind, and that unsettled the car, and she speared into the side of her combatant. Now, it's a tough one, I'm afraid, but a very tricky situation. You have to look at these things on face value. And unfortunately, Bustamante out of the race through no fault of her own on that particular occasion. But the final race of the season looks like it could end up under safety car. And that could be a rather disappointing and a little bit of a lackluster end to the season, really. But what an incredible race this last race of the year has been. So now it's going to be a really interesting situation for all of the contenders. Flower on YouTube asks, is Bianca Bustamante going to be in any other racing series this year? Yes, indeed she is. She's going to be in the F1 Academy later this year for the Prema team. And for my money, she could be a championship contender going up against the likes of Abby Pulling, Nerea Marti and Lena Bula. Safety car is in this lap. My goodness me. So it's going to be a very quick safety car period, and that means we're going to get 2 racing laps. So at the end of this lap, we are going racing straight away. Yuga Chukwu is going to lead them off, and we're going to get 2 laps of racing to the end then. And it looks as though we're going to get a good one for Yuga Chukwu. Second position is Valeria Rinicella. Alizardi's been a little bit lacking on the restart, but if you can keep close to them, there's a good opportunity. And so they come off the final chicane and onto the main straight with just a few seconds to go. Green once again for Yas Marina in the last race of the F4 United Arab Emirates Championship 2023. So who's going to get the job done? Zachary David appears to have disappeared. I'm not sure what's happened to Zachary David. He's come back into the pits, so his race and his season is over. So an investigation has begun into the incident between Nanda Vidbirambakti and Bianca Bustamante. I wonder who's going to get the penalty at the end of that one. To the W Hotel complex. And the field works its way through under the W Hotel. Great racing in the midfield. A lot of drivers trying to pick up some points at the end of a very tough season. But Chukwu is in front of Rinicella. Rinicella goes a little bit deep. And onto the Grand Prix home straight they come. And this is where Chiara Alizardi might just get an opportunity to have a look at Valeria Rinicella. He's running out of chances, he's running out of options. Will he go for it up the inside? No, he's going to time it right. He's going to leave it a little bit later on in the lap. Meanwhile, still a duel going on between Noah Stromsted and James Bezique, the Australian. Bezique runs wide. Stromsted nails in behind him. And they've got Jessica Dushkado and Will McIntyre chasing them down. Time is up. So this is going to be the penultimate lap of the season. A lock-up from Chukwu. He can't afford to make that mistake this close to home. As Rinicella and Alizardi will make mincemeat of him if he overcooks the tyres now. And he seems to have got away with that lock-up. Down the back straight. Chukwu leads Rinicella, Alizardi, Claro, Rifai, Badua, Nile, Al-Kubaisi, Lacorte, Bezique and Stromsted. 32 cars still remaining in this last race of the season, side by side. This is going to be tight between Bezique and Stromsted. Stromsted's going to outbrake him. Oh, Cadascado outbrakes all of them, but he nerfs the back of Bezique's car. He just caught the rear quarter, and they both have to overshoot. Into the last lap of the season we go. And the 2 high-tech teammates, Bezique and McIntyre, are now going wheel to wheel. And this is Rifai, trying to go round the outside of Claro for P4. Brandon Badua trying to get on the inside as a result. And he's going to get them both! He's going to get them both! He'll go alongside Pedro Claro. But he's not quite got the line. So Claro will hold it on the inside. Brandon Badua still committing to the inside. Comes Teofil Nile on the inside of Rifai. And Claro hangs on to 4 for now. Nile and Rifai go very close together. Up the road goes Rifai and spins in front of the field. And he's hit by Hamdi Al-Khawaisi. What an unfortunate end to the season for those two on the last lap of the year. Poor Federico Rifai and poor Hamdi Al-Khawaisi. The back end kicks out for Rifai, he spins and Al-Khawaisi has nowhere to go. And it's a red flag. The race has been stopped. There's Rifai. Al-Khawaisi has nowhere to go. Oh, that's a monstrous impact. And the race has been stopped. So the race is red flagged on the final lap. So they will come straight back into the pits and it will go back to the last completed lap. And that is obviously going to be the previous one. So Yugo Ugochukwu will win the final race of the season in dramatic fashion. From Valerio Rinicella and Chiano Al-Azadi, Pedro Claro in fourth ahead of Federica Rifai, Brando Badua, Teofil Nal and Hamda Al-Kubaisi. A bitterly disappointed Federica Rifai. All cars will go directly to Parc Fermé. Let's look at it from the back view. Look, Rifai loses the back end of the car completely. And Hamda Al-Kubaisi, sadly, has absolutely nowhere to go. A total victim of circumstance at the worst point on the circuit to run out of road. What a dramatic end to the season. So all cars are to drive directly to Parc Fermé. The race is over. They will not take the finish line. Yugo Ugochukwu wins the last race of the season from Valerio Rinicella and Chiano Al-Azadi in a dramatic race that sees James Wharton become champion over Tuukka Tapanen after the two drivers collide on the first lap of the last race of the season. Motor racing has a habit of keeping you on the edge of your seat till the bitter end, and it certainly has done here at Yas Marina. Yugo Ugochukwu gets out of the car. He can celebrate a brilliant victory to end his campaign, and Yugo Ugochukwu actually ends the year with more race victories than any other driver in F4 UAE this season. Dubai last week was his undoing. Had he had a reasonable point score there, I think we'd be looking at the new champion. You really do have to feel for Yugo Ugochukwu. There is James Wharton in the background. He's obviously already come home and got changed, and is already soaking up the moment as the new F4 UAE champion. What a dramatic end to the season. We all hope that Hamda Al-Kubaisi is okay. She had absolutely no chance to get out of that. We won't speculate about anything at the moment, but the race is red flagged. And back to the Parc Fermé has come all of the other cars. But Yugo Ugochukwu takes the final race win of the season. And it really has been quite an astonishing end to the season by all counts. But as far as I can tell, the race is going to go back to the last completed lap as it ends under red flag. Well, down in the pit lane, Feline Wang has found our race winner, the man who has won more races than any other driver in this F4 UAE campaign. His fifth win of the year, the American driver from New York. It is Yugo Ugochukwu, our final race winner of the year.
Ugo, congratulations! And the last race very dramatic, but you still win the third of the overall championship. Also win the last race. Tell us your season.
Yeah, I didn't make the best start, so I fell down to P3. And then the two people ahead of me had a bit of an incident, so I took the lead. And then from there, I just controlled the pace till the end. Yeah, I think I wanted to beat them on track, but overall, it's a good way to end the season. Made a bit of a sacrifice yesterday, so we would have better pace today, but it was an easier race than I thought.
Okay, congratulations. Yeah. 那刚刚我问到 Ugo 呢，他也提到呢，他昨天呢做了一些牺牲，所以呢，今天呢，他发车的时候也没有发得很好。不过呢，好在前面两个车呢发生了碰撞之后呢，他就一直保持了稳定的发挥和领先的优势，然后最后呢也非常开心能有这样一个结果。Back to you guys.
Thanks, Feline. Good to catch up with Yugo Ugochukwu, who ends his year as he started it with a victory. But the champion is James Wharton from Australia, who gets the job done in fantastic fashion. Tuukka Tapanen is the rookie champion. Mumbai Falcons are the team champions. Well, what an unbelievable fight it has been all the way through these 15 races in the F4 UAE Championship 2023. We've had action and drama right to the end. And people are going to look back on this one as one of the ultimate F4 Championship fights. But Yugo Ugochukwu ends his year on the top step of the podium. He won more races than anybody else, and that will be a nice confidence booster heading into his summer campaign. Oh! A great start from the front of the field from James Wharton. Arvid Lindblad is left on the starting grid. The Red Bull Junior is going nowhere. on the starting grid. The Red Bull Junior is going nowhere, and right already side by side Tukatapana trying to take on Yugo Gachukwu, and going right round the outside, getting alongside Wharton, the inside of James Wharton. That hasn't worked. Tarpanen's got to go the long way round to try and get alongside and level with James Wharton. Trying to work his way through to the inside, and took it through to the inside, and Tukatapana is up the inside of James Wharton, going for the lead. Tarpanen will try. They both go off. Tarpanen recovers in front of Wharton. Oh, they've hit each other! And surely that's game over. Wharton is going to be champion. And that is over for James Wharton. Look at that wheel. It is destroyed. Over. Unless Tukatapana can dramatically find his way back. Let's look again. Look, Wharton has gone over the curves. See, what's happened there is that they both run off the road. Tarpanen rejoined a little earlier than James Wharton did. Wharton hopped over the curves and ended up accidentally spewing into the side of Tukatapana. The contact involving cars 13 and 8 at turn 13 are under investigation by the stewards. See, look, Wharton has rejoined the circuit by hopping over the curb. He rejoined the circuit later than Tarpanen did, and unfortunately Tarpanen just ended up having nowhere to go. Fernando Barrichello has got himself into an incident before his race even restarted. And on a spin! Noah Lyle goes around right in front of Pedro Claro to be. Gachukwu ahead of Rinicella and Alizardi. And now we've got the battles down the back straight. That's not the racetrack, I think you'll find. Kanato Lee has dropped it down the field. I'm not sure what's happened to Kanato Lee, but he has not come through this time. Side by side, this is Stromstad round the outside of James Physique. Having already got past Mohammed Ibrahim, so he's picking them off one by one now. A fabulous challenge. And a great duel continuing. David slipped through the net. Ibrahim covering the inside line. Noah Lyle committing. Still going for it. Mohammed Ibrahim left him from F4 UAE. See, she's got the line on the inside line there, and she just gets a little bit of a tap from behind. You can't blame her for that one either. She actually had the corner. Stromstad. 32 cars still remaining in this last race of the season, side by side. This is going to be tight between Physique and Stromstad. Stromstad's going to wheel, and this is Rafai trying to go round the outside of Claro for P4. Brandon Badua trying to get on the inside as a result, and he's going to get them both. He's going to get them both. He'll go alongside. Claro hangs on to fourth for now. Nan and Rifai go very close together. Up the road goes Rifai and spins in front of the field, and he's hit by Hamdi Al-Khamis. Red flag. The race has been stopped. Social media page over the course of the day. And there is Chiaro Alizardi, third position on the starting grid. And fourth position I should say on the starting grid, but he came through to finish in third place. A second for Valerio Rinicella. A great performance from the Italian, drove very well indeed. But he couldn't quite get a win this year. Yugo Gachukwu though could. And he wins his 5th win of the season, more than any other driver over the course of 2023. He ends the title on his terms. What an epic season it's been. 5 different race winners and an epic struggle right to the last race of the season. For those F4 fans who are waiting for the summer campaigns in Europe, my goodness, have you got some stars to watch. A great rookie victory for Chiaro Alizardi. A strong end to the season for Valerio Rinicella. But Yugo Gachukwu is on the top step of the podium, head and shoulders above the rest in the last race of the year. It's been an absolute pleasure being involved in the F4 UAE Championship season in 2023. It really has been fantastic stuff. And as the boys on the podium get busy with the fizzy, we bow out from Yas Marina Circuit with amazing racers to talk about as we head into the rest of the 2023 season. From Feline Wang down in the pits, from myself, Jake Sanson, in the commentary box, and from all of us at the F4 UAE Championship 2023, thanks for the memories, and if in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Yes, it's me, and no, it's not cricket, but it's the same energy. It's not between the runs, but the laps. It's not between 2 teams, but many to come. It's not just between the players, but also their machines. Sweat, not in the jerseys, but in their gears. It's about the race this time. Show up to cheer for Amchi Mumbai. Yes, it's me. And no, it's not cricket. But it's the same energy. It's not between the runs, but the laps. It's not between two teams, but many to come.